there's lots for us to unpack. There's lots to go through. So I'm going to just leap to the audience first and see if there's any initial reactions, any questions, words of praise you'd like to share. Yes, in the back. And please speak up as loud as you can.
Okay, I found it fascinating, but I'm just curious. I mean, it's a concept I've never heard about. But I'm just very curious. Are we, like Harvard, in competition with the Chinese and the Russians? Is this a little bit of a competition?
Is it kind of an international competition, I suppose, a kind of a space race for genetics?
No, I would call it the next big technological revolution. You know, after the industrial revolution and the digital revolution, we are on the beginning of something which we call working with cells. You know, engineering the code of life. And yes, it is of course competitive, and many countries work on it. And also in China they work on it, and close together with the US scientists, but with less, let's say, NGOs or free media controlling it. And I think that's the point.
Other questions? Yes, sir.
Fantastic film, and I wanted to know more about how the collaboration happened. You know, it seemed like it was, all over the globe, far off in Siberia. I'd love to hear, if you can describe how you two came to collaborate.
So the question was to elaborate on the collaboration, such a broad canvas of the film.
Well, as you know from the film, my first time on island was in 2012, and in that time I was not the filmmaker back then. And after the expedition, I was dreaming to make a really kind of full-length documentary film. It was my dream, and I would feel that as kind of my mission. So, and at the same time, I was like, when I was thinking about the film, Christian and Suri was thinking too, but we didn't know each other. And then we, meet each other later, and I think Christian will continue my story.
Yeah, I mean, you grew up in Tixi. I mean, this is far away from Zurich, and Tixi is 300 kilometers from the island, so you are from there. And we didn't know each other. I was reading a book by George Church. The title is Regenesis, and the second title is How Synthetic Biology Will Reinvent Nature and Ourselves. And I wasn't reading that book just to make a film, I'm just curious. An entire chapter in this book is dedicated to the resurrection of the woolly mammoth. And when I was reading this book, I came across photographs by his sister, photographs of these tusk hunters, this archaic world, seeking for the tusks and sometimes finding more than a tusk. And I had this epiphany, this is my next film. And then I reached out to the sister, and she told me about her brother, that he wants to do a film and that he's studying now at the best film school in Moscow, and that's how we now standing here in front of you, we came together. And it's actually really a very nice story. I mean, it's the first time I'm presenting a film together, with a co-director, and I think we can say it's really a very nice collaboration. I'm really thrilled and very emotional also about that. It's very nice.
Other questions? Yes, sir.
I know that African and Indian elephant ivory is becoming globally illegal, but at the very end of the film, they actually put that filming. Why was that? Since that was mammoth tusk.
Can I ask you to say that question again, please, because I didn't hear you.
About the ivory.
Yes, I know some of the living elephants today are harvested for their tusks illegally, and that's becoming globally illegal. But why at the end of the film did they ask you to stop filming if it was just mammoth tusk?
Yeah, it's a good question, because it's half legal. I mean, the mammoth ivory is there. These animals are already dead.
Well, to search for tusks it's legal, but to be there on the islands it's illegal because it's remote places and it's protected by Russian military. There's few military bases, like Arctic bases. And well, but selling, yeah, you cannot like sell it like like just pure clear tasks. You need to sell like a souvenir. But they asked me to stop filming because there was a arena horn. It was covered, so the arena horn is a kind of really expensive horn, and so that's why they stopped asking me to stop filming.
Is there also a kind of a taboo almost to unearth certain artifacts and bones?
Well, yeah, there's plenty, like, yeah, you know, the mammoth hunters, they're native people from the north. They're living in the shoreline of the Arctic Ocean in small villages, and you know, actually, to find the tusk, it's kind of bad luck, you know, as you know in the film. And many people think about it, like, believe the spirits, and they kind of have to give something back to the earth when they took something, like the tusk or bones. Yeah.
Actually, it happened to you the same, no? When you, he was filming the first task, and he was so thrilled filming it that he forgot to do the salama.
Yeah, well, yeah, the first task, you know, for 1 month we couldn't find the task, and I was worried because, you know, I have to show the task, I have to, you know, like, have this footage. And after, when we discovered the first task, I was like really nervous, you know, like I was kind of capturing I was like filming, you know, I didn't pay attention like about to give something back to Earth, because I'm getting footage, I need to say thanks to Earth also. And I just forget about it because I was too like in the mood of shooting. And then like 30 minutes later, when we left the place when we found the task, I was dropped on the lake, like I was in the lake with my camera. You know, I was in the sled, and the sled was fall down to the lake, and my camera was under the water for 1 minute. And when I took it out, you know, from the lens was water came out, and from the camera, and the footage was there. But I saved the footage, the memory card, and then, you know, for 5 days we dry the camera in our small tent. We didn't sleep for 24 hours. I had my assistant, and we just kind of, when I was sleeping, he keep attention to the camera if it's dry enough, and then I wake up and, you know, it's kind of exchange. Yeah, so in that way, yeah. After that, I really kind of started thinking, yeah, you have to give something, you know.
So my question is, I saw that you thanked Sergei and Nikita Zimov in the thank yous, and I'm sort of aware of their operation, but this really complicated my understanding of what they're doing. And I was just curious if there was anything that you would have, you know, if there was anything that you would have liked to include in the film that you weren't able to, or if there's anything, you know, this was sort of the other side of that story, and I was just curious to hear if you had.
I wouldn't call it the other side. I mean, maybe we have to explain. These two brothers, Simov brothers, they have a park which is called Pleistocene Park, and they actually would take Mr. Church's mammothants to kind of fight global warming. I'm not joking. For me, it got too complex, and finally we decided not to do it. Also, it's very difficult to work with George Church because he doesn't have the time to go 2 weeks away at the end of the world, so it's not included. That's why.
Questions? Yes, in the back.
Were any of the scientists, did any of them have doubts? Did any of them have any kind of humility that maybe this wasn't the thing that we should do?
Well, you know, I mean, this is a first glimpse at something very big. And these young students, for example, at the genetically engineered machine competition, they want to do good,
right.
And they mean it, and I also believe it. You know, what they engineer at the moment is the E. coli bacteria, something which is called biotechnology and genetic engineering, and they want to save us from illness, etc., etc. The thing is, when you go to China,
right.
Yeah, and they want to digitalize everything alive on Earth, every plant, every bacteria, every animal, us, everything. Take it into their computers, and then the computer begins to analyze what the book of life, what it means. And we can already engineer the DNA, and we are now very close to even print DNA. So, I mean, it's really close that you can actually print somehow whatever animal or plant you put together on the computer. And this is, let's say, something you have a huge responsibility, and in China it's not really famous for having NGOs and free media to take attention. And for me, the message here is that there's close, links to George Church and the West and Bill Gates, but this is just a paradise because you can kind of export the tricky stuff, and this is the message at the moment. But you cannot kind of demonize the entire technology, because that would be like demonizing the Industrial Revolution. It happened anyway, or you wouldn't want to just demonize the digital revolution. We have to deal with it, and this is one of the first films to kind of wake you up maybe a little bit,
Thank you very much.
I think all technologies are just a reflection of ourselves. I mean,
Of course.
it's what we do with it that actually matters, I suppose. It's our depth of morality. Hello.
I wrote the book, How to Clone a Woolly Mammoth, and in the book, it sort of says that they've never been able to find a cell that's alive in a woolly mammoth. Can you talk about that?
Did you understand it? She was actually reading the book. It's in the end credits, How to Clone a Woolly Mammoth, and the title means the contrary what it's in the book, because Beth Shapiro, the author, says we'll never see a woolly mammoth. It's just a media hype. I totally agree with her. She was my advisor. I'm taking Senyon very serious. I love his dream to clone a mammoth. But I want to take you as an audience with this dream of cloning a woolly mammoth into what I just explained, that thing, which is much bigger behind the first manifestation of all this. It's much, much bigger than the mammoth. But I agree with her. I think we have to be realistic. It's a huge media hype. There will be a film soon which is called Woolly about George Church. I wonder what they are going to film, because he's not bringing back the woolly mammoth. He's not saying it. He's actually saying the truth, that he wants to build an animal which he, starts from the Asian elephant, and it's going to be a little bit closer to a mammoth. Now he has 50 mutations. He might have a few thousand. It's still not a woolly mammoth. But the media want this story. George Church actually told me, 2% of his energy and the money goes into this little thing with the woolly mammoth. And the rest is for us, for, also illnesses, etc., etc. 98% of the media attention goes to this woolly mammoth story. It's just how the media work. I hope you understood the film. It tries to work a little bit different,
Friends, we're out of time, I'm afraid. I'm sorry. We can keep talking out in the hall if you like, but please thank our guests once again for this fascinating film. Would you like to tell your friends that they're released in the United States? Thanks so much for your support. Remember to vote for the audience prize on your way out. Thank you.